Skinny Hardaway 17, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all jab that like button for your boy when you roll on in. I'm preparing myself dinner, but we about to get this, this breakdown in. Boxing don't never stop, man. I don't know if I'm gonna be on here. You know what I mean? 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatsoever. But however long we gonna be here today, y'all make sure y'all jab that like button for your boy. We got a big card, you know what I mean? Big for me, right? Big for me for sure. We got two guys fighting on this card, right? I think they the main and the co-main too, if I'm not mistaken. Or I know for sure they both fight on the card. I know Big Shot is the main event, right? And then we got Jonathan Rice, who's going to be on the card as well. Big Shot Shaw. I had the privilege, right, of having brother Big Shot Shaw on my platform last week, and I also have had the privilege of interviewing brother Johnny Rice twice on my platform. Kind of seen these guys, start. I kind of seen these guys. I ain't gonna say I seen them start, right, but I seen them. I seen them grow, right, from a year and a half ago, a year or two ago, right, to now. Now you got Stephen Shaw headlining, the first top ranked card of the year. We got brother Jonathan Rice, right, who was one of those guys who had to work a job and box because he wasn't getting, enough fights, or he wasn't getting the big money fights, or he wasn't getting, the shot. He wasn't getting the chances. Right. And then also with Johnny Rice, he had to take a look at himself, look himself in the mirror, right? Because Johnny Rice is a guy. Because Johnny Rice, hold on, let me change my avatar. Because Johnny Rice is a guy, and he admitted to this himself. He said that there were times where I did get the calls, where I did get the shots, and I wasn't prepared in myself, right? I wasn't prepared, or I dropped the ball. I might not have came in as in as good a shape as I should have been, or I didn't take it as serious, being a younger individual. So shout out to Johnny Rice for being able to see that, right, and to be able to fix that. Since then, Johnny Rice has went on to get two upset victories over Michael Coffey. Michael Coffey was one of the was one of the more notable prospect heavyweights coming up, right? And then he faced off against Johnny Rice. Johnny Rice beat Michael Coffey in the upset. He stopped him the first time, and the second time he didn't stop Michael Coffey, but he pretty much, beat Michael Coffey from round 1 to round 12. This would be his his first fight since the Michael Coffey saga ended, right? He beat Michael Coffey twice. One time year before last and one time last year. He hasn't had a fight since then, but he has been in training camp with Joe Joyce. He's been in there with FL Ajagba, you know what I mean? Ironically as well. Also ironically, right? Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I got 8 people in the building. I got 6 likes. If y'all could get your boy right and jab that thumbs up for your boy. Greatly appreciation. Greatly appreciate. Again, the support is free. I mean, again, super chats and cash apps are welcome, right? But support is free. All you got to do is hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't know if it's your first time, but if you could not make it your last time, hit that subscription button. Join the convos. We talk this good boxing every single day, not just today. I'm in here cooking. I'm cooking and I'm doing my show right now. So y'all bear with your boy. But yeah, so this card has a Johnny Rice on it. This will be his first fight since the Michael Coffey saga. And we got Stephen Shaw, right, who's been pretty active, right, in the last 8 months. He's had about 2 fights in the last 9 months. Has Stephen Shaw. The first fight, he got a 10th round stoppage. If I'm not mistaken, he got a 10th round stoppage. And then he came back in his very last fight, right, and he got a first round stoppage. Stephen Shaw is a guy, you know, kind of like Johnny Rice, right? He's been on these bigger platforms, right? But the opportunities have been few far in between. You know what I mean? He has been known, you know, PBC. He's been on Top Rank, right? But the opportunities have seemed so far in between, you know, when it comes to Stephen Shaw. So now that I hit, you know, I spoke to you, know, about my two friends, right? Because I mess with these guys personally, right? You know, both these guys have been on Southern T. Both these guys, you know, have a special place with your boy. So I am a little biased, you know what I mean, when it comes to these two fighters, but I'm gonna give y'all these breakdowns. I'm gonna give y'all these breakdowns total with total you know, straight from student of the game standpoint, with total unbiasedness, right? What is what it is, right? And both of these guys are in good fights, right? Neither of these guys are in the ring with a guy, you know, that's going to be pushed over, right? You got Big Shot Shaw facing off against Effie Ajagba, right? We all pretty much know, you know, what Effie Ajagba brings to the table, what he is, you know, with the power type deal. Jonathan Rice, opponent of Vianello, right? Vianello, he's not as known, right, as a FA or, you know, as a Rice or, you know, as a Stephen Shaw, right? But they got ears dangerous as well, right? So now that I, you know, Stephen Shaw, you know, and he's facing off against F.L. Jogba. I'm going to start with Jonathan Rice, right? I'm going to start with Jonathan Rice and his opponent. And just, y'all saw Stephen Shaw. You know, this is Jonathan Rice. This is the guy, you know, that I was saying that beat Michael Coffey in the last two fights, who had been training, you know what I mean, with, you know, some of the best boxers since then, right? Jonathan Rice's opponent, his name is Vianello, right? Jonathan Rice, 15 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw, 10 KOs. Been stopped twice himself, 6'5", 81-inch arm reach. He's facing off against Guido Vianello. Vianello is 10-0 with 9 KOs, 28 years old, 6'6", 79-inch arm reach. So Jonathan Rice is 1 inch shorter than Vianello, and he has a 1-inch arm reach advantage on Vianello, which roughly means they have about, you know what I mean, the same reach. So arm reach, you know, may not come into play with this, right? But then again, you know, we've seen guys in boxing with a lot shorter arm, you know what I mean, get in there and outbox a guy with longer arms, right? But we got Jonathan Rice versus Guido Vianello. Film study on Vianello. I noticed one thing about Vianello, that he has pretty good feet. You know, just like Jonathan Rice. This one of Jonathan Rice's advantages at heavyweight, right? He has really good feet. He has really good feet, just like Jonathan Rice. And Vianello, he also, one thing that jumped out to me, right? That really jumped out to me when doing the film study. It was good, 88. Appreciate you sliding through. Let me say what's up to everybody that came in the building first. My bad. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. 10 people in the building. I get 8 likes. Can y'all do your boy a favor and get your boy right? Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, you just dropping in, or you're here for the duration. Greatly appreciate you sliding through. What's good, Jelly Bean? Greatly sliding through this thing. Jazz, Shower Allah, Ray Buck, Charles Granger, D-Man Jr., my baby nurse Lulu, D-Man, 88. What's good, 88? Appreciate y'all folks sliding through. But yeah, so we got Jonathan Rice versus Vianello. Now, again, I noticed that Vianello, right, that Guido Vianello, he has nice feet along with Jonathan Rice. If I had to gauge it, I would say that both their feet are about the same, Jonathan Rice and Vianello. But another thing that jumped out to me, right, when watching film on Vianello, he has, you know, quick hands to be a heavyweight, right? That was the first thing that I noticed about how, I want you to say the first thing that I noticed, but one of the first things that jumped out to me, right, that was very apparent. One thing that jumped out to me that was very apparent is that this guy had extremely quick hands for a heavyweight. You know what I mean? Vanilla had extremely quick hands for a heavyweight. That could pose a problem for Jonathan Rice. I'm not going to lie. Jonathan Rice is also a heavyweight, right? He has pretty quick hands. His jab is quick. If Jonathan Rice is one of those fighters, he like to use his jab and he like to control the distance of the fight. When it comes to Jonathan Rice, right, his fights get interesting when he can't, keep you on his stick and he can't control the timing and the range of the fight. Also, side note, Jonathan Rice, not as of late in the last couple of fights, right, but throughout, a history, right? Jonathan Rice has a history to where sometimes he comes into his fight and he's not in the best of shape. Now that hasn't been the issue as of late, right? The first Michael Coffey fight, he came in excellent shape, right? The second Michael Coffey fight, he admitted himself, he even admitted himself, right, that he wasn't in as good a shape as he was in the first fight, but he was still able to be he was still able to find himself victorious in the second fight versus Michael Coffey as well, right? So in this fight, I see it happen in two ways. If Guido Vanella is going to win this fight, then I think he's going to have to, of course, use his quick hands and use his feet, right? But with Jonathan Rice is a guy you can't just wait, sit back, and be patient with because he's the kind of guy that'll pick you apart. Vanello, he likes to counterpunch, right? So there could be a disadvantage to Vanello because he likes to counterpunch, and Jonathan Rice likes to punch first. So this could be a battle between, who could land. This will be a battle between Jonathan Rice's jab versus Vanello's counterpunching. That's mainly and basically, that's what I'm seeing on a grand scheme of things. Vianello has quick hands to counterpunch with. Jonathan Rice has a quick jab. He likes to use distance. Neither fighter has a huge advantage with the arm reach. So in this fight, I think this fight is going to come down largely. Largely to the conditioning of both fighters. This is the heavyweight division. In the heavyweight division, every fight is about one punch away, from changing. The stronger, more power puncher in this fight, you look at the records, you see Vianello with 10 KOs and 10 fights and 9 KOs. You look at Jonathan Rice's record, he has 15 fights and 10 KOs. Jonathan Rice has faced much better opposition, in his career, much better opposition to this point in his career. Jonathan Rice is the guy he's on, right? I don't want to necessarily say the back end, right? Because he still got a lot of years left, right? But he's in his golden years when it comes to, this boxing. Vanilla is an up-and-coming prospect. He's not an extremely young guy, right? But he's an up-and-coming prospect with not a whole lot of fights who's looking to, burst into the heavyweight scene. Beating a guy like Jonathan Rice, who has a name in America, right? Jonathan Rice has built up him a nice fan base with those Michael Coffey wins, right? So him getting the win over a guy like Jonathan Rice will be big for Vanilla. Vanilla. I think in this fight again, like I was saying, it's going to come down to both of these guys' conditioning. If Jonathan Rice comes in, in the condition like he was in the first Michael Coffey fight, then this could be a long night for Vanilla. I very well could see maybe Jonathan Rice stopping him if Jonathan Rice comes in, 100% focused in on his game. If Jonathan Rice, comes in maybe a little out of shape, or if Jonathan Rice comes in, I ain't do too much. Chilled out. I'm cooking myself some dinner now. Steak and steak fries. I miss you. But yeah, so in this fight, if Jonathan Rice, hasn't been taking his physical condition serious, right? If he comes in more so like he has, before these last 2 years, right? Before he started taking the game, extremely serious before, he started putting in that work to his own, admission, then this very well could be a long night for Jonathan Rice. I could see Vanello, You know what I mean? Stopping Jonathan Rice as well. Again, I stated this guy, Guido Vianello, he has quick hands, right? He has quick hands with multiple punches, right? Jonathan Rice has decent speed, right? Has above average speed, has above average speed for a heavyweight, right? And he has a quick jab in general, right? But this Vianello guy, he has quick hands, like just in general. He got quick hooks, right? Quick jabs. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two styles mesh. In this fight, I'm going to be, I'm going to be counting on, right, that Jonathan Rice is coming in this fight on his A game. I'm going to be depending on Jonathan Rice is coming in this fight, with his head on straight. And I got Jonathan Rice winning this fight. I don't think it's going to be a knockout anywhere. I think Jonathan Rice is going to control the distance in this fight. I think Jonathan Rice is going to be defensively sound. And I think Jonathan Rice is going to be able to keep Vianello, you know what I mean, at the end of his range on his stick and behind his straight, right? I don't think Vianello is going to be able to get the timing down, you know what I mean, of Jonathan Rice. And I think that's going to cause I think that's going to cause problems for Vianello when it comes to him trying to land his counter shots. Because he's mainly and solely a counter puncher. And I think in this fight, he's going to need to be a little more aggressive if he wants to beat Jonathan Rice. Now, if Jonathan Rice is start the gas, then they very well could increase the aggression of Vianello, you know what I mean, by default, right? But I'm going with both fighters being at the top of the game, right? Both fighters coming in on the A game. And I got Jonathan Rice over Guido Vianello by unanimous decision. By unanimous decision. 10-round unanimous decision. Jonathan Rice over Vianello, unanimous decision. So I got Rice over Vianello in the first fight. Now we getting on to the main event of the night. You know what I mean? We got Stephen Big Shot Shaw versus Effie Ajagba. Now, when I first came on, I told you I had the privilege of having, Jonathan Rice, and I had the privilege of having Stephen Shaw, come through my show. Had the privilege of having Stephen Shaw, you know what I mean, come through my show. So they are friends of the show. Shout out my boy Stephen Shaw. Stephen Shaw is 18-0, 13 KOs, 30 years old, 6'4", with an 81-inch arm reach. He's facing off against Effie Ajagba. Effie Ajagba is 16-1 with 13 KOs. Also 6'6", with an 85-inch arm reach. So as you see, Effie Ajagba has the arm reach advantage over Stephen Shaw. Effie Ajagba, he may or may not be the more recognizable name to some. Effie Ajagba, when he first hit the scene, right, when he first came around, and I would still say now, I'm not even gonna say just like when he first, because Effie Ajagba only has one loss, and his one loss is to Frank Sanchez, right? But pre the Effie Ajagba loss, right? Effie Ajagba was seen as maybe the next great heavyweight. Effie Ajagba, he had extremely big shoes to fill, right? He had extremely big shoes to fill as far as, him being tagged with, one of the next great heavyweights. Brute force, like a brute force kind of athlete, like brute power. You don't want to be at the end of FA shots. You know what I mean? If you're one of his opponents, you don't want to be at the end of FA shots that thing could get bad for you. Yo, I got 9 people in the building. I got 11 likes. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy. Get your boy right. All right, so FA is he's a guy with brute strength, not a very big mover, right? Not even very big on defense, right? But what FA has is that one punch fight changing ability. What FA has is that one punch fight changing ability, which he puts on display just about every time, right, that he steps out in the ring. As you can see, with the 17 fights in 13 KOs. Effie Ajagba in his last fight was seen victorious with a TKO win over Darmis. He knocked out Darmis in the second round. In the fight right before that, he took his first and only loss of his career versus Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez pretty much outboxed Effie Ajagba from, the start of that fight to the end of that fight. He down FL Ajagba in that fight. FL Ajagba just couldn't quite deal with the boxing ability. He just couldn't quite deal with the boxing ability of Frank Sanchez. Since then, he's came on to get a knockout, and now he's fighting Stephen Shaw. The reason I talked about the Frank Sanchez fight when it came to FL Ajagba is because just like Frank Sanchez, you have a guy, my guy Stephen Shaw. My guy Stephen Shaw is also a boxer, a pure boxer. There's not a whole lot of pure boxer punchers at the heavyweight division, right? What's good, Tay Tay? Appreciate you sliding through. He said it's like peaches and cream. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Tay Tay, shout out my guy Ant Jones. Could y'all do your boy a favor? Could y'all jab that thumbs up for your boy? 9 people in the building, 11 likes. Y'all get your boy right. Let YouTube know that we over here cooking. I'm really in the kitchen cooking too. Let YouTube know that we over here cooking. Let YouTube know that we talking this good boxing. Let YouTube know where you at, that you over here. Let YouTube know that we over here getting it in. But Stephen Shaw, kind of just like Frank Sanchez, right? He's also one of those heavyweight boxer punchers, which you don't see a whole lot, right? You got Stephen Shaw, you got Frank Sanchez, just to name a few of those heavyweight boxer punchers. You got Alexander Usyk, right, who's naturally a cruiserweight. He stepped up boxer puncher. So that style, heavyweight is unique. And I think it's one of the better styles to have, right? Because not a whole lot of heavyweights are fleet of foot. Also, Deontay Wilder, despite popular beliefs, he's also one of those heavyweight movers, you know what I mean? Those puncher boxers, right? But I digress. If Ajagba, he got a knockout in his last fight, but his fight before that, he struggled. He struggled himself to a loss. Actually, with Frank Sanchez. Just like Frank Sanchez, Stephen Shaw is a boxer puncher. He's not only a boxer puncher like Frank, but he's a bigger, right? He's a bigger guy. He's a bigger boxer puncher, than Frank. If you're asking me pound for pound, I do think Stephen Shaw hits harder than Frank Sanchez. Sanchez was able to knock FL Ajagba down and not out, but he was able to box him pretty cleanly for a win on the cards. The bad thing in this fight for FL Ajagba is that Stephen Shaw, the bad part about this with FL Ajagba is that Stephen Shaw could also, cleanly outbox FL Ajagba, and he also has the power to knock him out, not just put him down. Frank Sanchez didn't really have the size or the power. Hold on, y'all. Getting these fries out the grease. Getting these things out the grease. Well, yeah, my bad. But unlike Frank Sanchez, right? Unlike Frank Sanchez, Stephen Big Shot Shaw, he does have the ability, right? He does have the power, the sit down power to be able to knock out, FL Ajagba. So as to where we would say, let's just say that Frank Sanchez and Stephen Shaw boxing ability, she's not good, but just like, unlike Frank Sanchez, Stephen Shaw, he does have the power, to put FL Ajagba out there. Frank Sanchez was able to easily outbox FL Ajagba. He was also, strong enough to put him down. He just didn't have, the power to knock him out. Stephen Shaw has the boxing ability. Stephen Shaw has the boxing ability of, a middleweight, a welterweight. Stephen Shaw has the boxing ability of a welterweight and the power of a heavyweight. Frank Sanchez has the boxing ability of a welterweight and the power of 175 cruiserweight guy. You get what I'm saying? No disrespect to Frank, but when you think of Frank Sanchez, you're not thinking of a guy who has a whole lot of power. And he was able to knock down FL Ajagba, not even because he has a lot of power, but because he got a boxing knockdown, right? where you put your combinations together, you put it on the guy and you knock him down because he's either off balance, right, or you knock him down because you overwhelmed him, type thing. That's the kind of knockdown that Frank Sanchez was able to get from Efe Ajagba. The bad part about that is Efe Ajagba looked very, very vulnerable when it came to Frank Sanchez's jab. He looked very, very vulnerable when it came to cutting off the ring on Frank Sanchez. He looked very, very vulnerable when it came to try to land his shots on Frank Sanchez. Stephen Shaw is a bigger, stronger version of Frank Sanchez. If Efe Ajagba comes in here and if Ajagba comes in here and he's not successful in being able to land on his target like he was against Frank with the movement of Frank, had a hard time dealing with the movement of Frank, he's going to see a lot of that with Stephen Shaw. If he comes in here and he has a repeat performance like he had against Frank Sanchez, Stephen Shaw is going to knock out Efe Ajagba. And that's exactly my fight prediction for this fight. I got Stephen Shaw versus Efe Ajagba, late round stoppage for Stephen Shaw. I think Stephen Shaw is going to be able to touch Efe Ajagba when he wants. I think he's going to land. I think he's going to land hard. I think Efe Ajagba struggles with his defense. I think Stephen Shaw is in the prime of his career. He's looking as good as I have ever seen him, right? As good as he's ever looked. Both guys have 13 KOs. So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that Stephen Shaw has just as much power as Efe Ajagba, right? And if you would have seen him fight, you know Stephen Shaw is a much better, more fluid, more technical boxer than Efe Ajagba. I think this style matchup is all bad for Efe Ajagba. What's good, Shaw? Appreciate you sliding through. I think this style matchup is all bad for Efe Ajagba. So I got Stephen Big Shot Shaw by knockout. I'm gonna go Stephen Big Shot Shaw. Knockout, 9th round. I got Stephen Big Shot Shaw, 9th round knockout over Efe Ajagba in the main event this Saturday. I think this thing gonna be a banger, and you ain't gonna want to miss it. But I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button, get your boy right. You know what I mean? Get your boy right. Greatly appreciate everybody signing through. I'm about to feed my face. Skin the heart away, Southern Tea. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.